Give him all the glory, mighty King. Yes, he is. Whoa.
All right, everyone, I want to thank you for tuning in today. I'm sitting here with a finalist as a photographer of the year, an entrepreneur. I'm sitting with Noe Gonzalez. Noe, God bless you, man.
God bless you, brother.
Thank you for being here with me.
Thank you.
I definitely appreciate it. We've been getting some heavy winter in Rochester.
Yes,
how's the winter treating you, by the way?
Surprising. Comes and goes.
Yeah.
My kids don't know when summer and
Yeah.
spring is coming.
Yeah, no, they don't know nothing. So 2018 is upon us, and everybody sets goals on what they want to do, where they want to go, goals of losing weight or getting closer to God or starting a business. How do you set goals in your personal life?
First of all, I pray and make sure that my goals are led by the Spirit. Because I've set goals in the past, and yes, I've accomplished them. But then I find myself saying, now what? When I started learning to listen to the Spirit, which is a very soft voice that if you don't sit and try to listen, it's easy to miss. But when you start learning to listen to the Spirit, you become what Jesus would be nowadays. Mm-hmm. So you start not thinking of yourself and start thinking of others and start being grateful for what you do have. So people tell me, oh, you're a photographer. And I say, no, I'm a man of God who happens to be a photographer.
Yeah.
So
one of the things T.D. Jakes said in one of the interviews that he had was people will define me by what they met me doing.
Right, exactly.
I know you say you pray and prayerfully make these goals, but how important is it to write or envision them?
Envisioning is a big part, very big part. But like you said, writing them down. The good thing about writing down your goals is that you write down goals, but God always is like setting you up to surprise you. Mm-hmm. Your goal may be this, but then when you go towards that goal, God's like, you didn't know where I was going to take you. And he takes you somewhere higher in that same category, and then you have another goal for something else. And God's like, you don't know what I have set up for you. And I notice it's like that every time. So writing them down not only shows that you've accomplished them, but it shows that how God has taking you to surpass them. Mm-hmm. So very important. Yeah.
Who are some mentors in your life, and what are some things that they've taught you?
Well, definitely my pastor. Mm-hmm. My pastor's an amazing man of God. He introduced me to that world of people in need, homeless shelters. Mm-hmm. He took me there the first time to preach and stuff like that. He's a person that's inspired me. Mm-hmm. That's the messenger that God has brought to me to hear God's word through every day. And another person, definitely my mother. That lady is amazing. She's a missionary without the title. She helps people in Dominican Republic. There's families in Dominican Republic who fully depend on her. No. That she provides what they need so that they can start a business. I learned through her. Mm-hmm. So even as a child, I remember my birthday will come along and I'll say, no, you don't have to do that. Let's do something else. And, it's something that I learned from her,
Now, your mom also owns a store, right?
She does, yeah.
Okay.
It's on 1067 Hudson Avenue. Gotcha. Guzman Grocery.
So she's heavily involved in many things. You're heavily... Yes. It almost sounds like everybody is just moving and working and just continuing forward. What are some things that you work towards on your free time?
On my free time?
On your free time.
Free time, I work on my craft. So I do a lot of studying, a lot of online schooling. Mm-hmm. So, like, for example, for photography, I don't just pick up a camera and move. Every day, that's another thing that I set my goals on, is learning something new every day. Mm-hmm. There's always something to learn. So I always go online. I always watch videos, watch tutorials, watch what not to do. Things like in that sense. And then I just a lot of research. So that's something I do a lot in my free time. Mm-hmm. And of course, quality time with the family and kids and wife. And
definitely. How long have you been a photographer for?
All right, so I went to School of the Arts for high school. Awesome school. Mm-hmm. I even cried when I graduated because I didn't want to leave. But So that was in 2004. And School of the Arts actually gave me a mini scholarship to get some credits in U of R. So I got some U of R credits in photography and painting. I was originally a painter.
Okay.
So in high school, I did not ever think of doing photography. I did take photography classes, which taught me the basics. But I was originally a painter. That's why in a lot of my work, you'll see a lot of colors and a lot of, rule of thirds and all that, because that was stuff that I used painting. So I noticed I was always taking pictures on my phone. I'm like, what am I doing? Just buy a camera.
Yeah.
So I mastered my editing craft. Editing the photos is a big part of why my work is recognized. I like pictures that show emotion, show a feeling. Almost all my photos are of people, because people have emotion, they have feeling, and then there's a backstory of their life that you don't know about. So I always do a little research before I even start doing photography on the person. And I asked them, what do you want people to see through you? Who are you?
So you've been working on that craft, working on the editing, like you said. I've seen your work, which I think is really, really good.
Thanks.
Today you are one of the finalists, right? You're nominated for a Rock Award.
I'm excited.
Congratulations.
I was excited to be a part of that. Just the fact that I got the email, and then it turns out I got a lot of nominations.
Wow. You said that when you established your goals, you do it prayerfully, but writing it down leaves you astonished of what God does. And it's amazing, because it went from being a painter to being a photographer, and now these other doors.
It's an awesome platform that God has placed in front of me.
So let's talk about that passion that the Lord has put in you, this organization, Good Deeds in the Rock.
Yeah.
How did this idea formulate? Just the idea, how did that come about?
I've always been a person that, when I see somebody in the street, I didn't want to give them the dollar. I'd rather give them a sandwich. I'd rather give them something to eat, something that's actually going to bless them. I don't want to contribute to what might be another step to their downfall. So as I started doing that, when I got married, so she started getting into that, and then we said, let's do something so that the kids can learn. So now my kids sometimes will be like, when are we going to buy the pizza? So sometimes we'll buy like a bunch of pizzas, go out, and I put it on plates, and I let the kids hand them out.
Nice.
So they can see the need, and they can see the passion that's in what we're doing, and they can also appreciate what they do have.
Yeah.
And then learn how to love people the way God wants us to. So.
And it also shows them the impact that they can have at such a young age.
Yeah.
I think people sometimes think, well, I have to be this age. You have to be 18 or older to do this, 21 or older to do that. But you're saying when you're grabbing your kids young, you're saying, no, let's get involved and have an impact.
Yep.
That's
so now they still ask me, how are people in the tents doing?
Okay, talk a little bit about Tent City for those who are listening and don't know anything about Tent City.
Okay, so Tent City is basically a community of about 8 to 15 people.
And that's here in Rochester.
And it's near Mount Hope and near the Spectrum building.
Okay. Yeah.
There's a little strip next to the highway there. And right along the fence, there's a bunch of tents lined up. And these people are living there. That's where they sleep.
And I'm sure people have seen them if you've passed through the highway.
Yeah. If you drive by there, you've seen them. You see a bunch of orange and blue tarps and tents and stuff. So, the first time you see it, you're like, oh, wow. But then when you get in and you talk to them, you realize, these people are sleeping there. That's, it breaks your heart. So you're like, wow, yesterday was a beautiful day.
Yeah.
Nobody was thinking about them there, but as soon as I saw in the news we're gonna get the storm, I went out with the donations that we did have, which I want to thank every person who's been donating and supporting. We got a bunch of toe warmers, body warmers, all these things, and a bunch of gift cards from McDonald's. And I also was able to bring them a box of Joe and coffee and all that. That helps a lot because it makes them sleep. Everybody is safe at home and warm at home, but my mind, for some reason, stays there. So that's what Tent City is. A bunch of people living in tents, living outside. They have no resources, no jobs,
And so you start working in the background, so to speak, what would later become Good Deeds in the Rock.
Yeah.
Is that something that you said 2018 is the year we launch?
You know what's weird? I didn't think of the new year. Me and my wife, I don't know if you saw the first video.
Yeah.
I said, let's make a video to make people aware that these people are there. And just to show what God is doing. And along with it came all this support and all these people. I mean, people that even do music that's, you know, from music I don't listen to, obviously, but they said, we want to step in and we want to help.
Wow.
So, you know, it's pushing and creating a movement that me and my wife started, and people are doing this now without us, you know, on their own. And so it really shows how far Christ's hand is stretching, you know, because God uses anybody he wants. You know, so I did think about this the past year, 2017. I'm sitting in my church. Yes, I'm hearing the word of God. Yes, I'm applying every personal word that comes towards me, you know, how to live, how Jesus Christ would walk and all these things. But then I started looking at who Jesus really is. You notice he never stopped moving. Jesus never stopped moving. And it was something that I had to like stop and look at. And I'm like, wait a minute. If Christ was here today, well, would he be going to church every Sunday, singing there, preaching there, and that's it? No, he would be moving outside, but continue his ministry. His ministry would be outside the church, not in it. That's something I started really looking at and saying, you know, if I'm a Christian, if I'm a follower of Christ, I want to start acting like it.
And one of the things that I've seen that you've been consistently posting on social media is the idea and the concept that we are his hands and feet. We have to move. We have to move.
Yeah, because it's one thing to say, okay, I'll pray for you, I'll keep you in prayer, and it ends there. But if God gave me the resources and God's telling me, use them. You know, I gave you these talents, don't bury them, use them. So that's basically what we're doing, you know, just moving and making sure that God is reaching to where he can be reached, being the miracle, not praying for one.
People say, well, I don't have enough resources. Yes, but you can be resourceful in what you do have. You know, like you said, the power of social media. You have a phone. Everybody has a phone and it has a camera. And we know people like social media using that as a platform.
Those videos I did with my phone, that wasn't even my camera.
Really?
Yeah, that was something that anybody could have done. But it takes a person of God, inspired by God, moved by God, to do it. So
definitely that. You said something recently, one of the recent videos that you put up on Facebook, on your Facebook page, which was kind of your story of how you found yourself, you know, and you can relate to these people that are in the tent city in these places. Talk a little bit about that story.
So at the age of 17, I had a little bit of issues. I was in adolescent years. Had a little bit of issues with the rules of the house. So I left. You know, at that point, I wasn't thinking about God or anything. And I was too prideful to go back. So I ended up living in an abandoned house. In the cold, no heat. This is during winter. I learned a lot. I learned what people go through when they don't have a real home. So I learned, because I didn't have a bathroom there, I would have to use public restrooms. I learned what it is little tricks to survive. That's basically what I learned. And what that did was make me appreciate everything I have now. So it's not something that, I forgot. And that always stayed with me. So even now that I have a family, I have kids, I have, I produce my own business and I'm doing well where I can say, God has brought me here. I still remember that. I don't forget that. So when I think of these people, I see myself back then, and I think what I would have felt like if I got that help. So.
You talk about the adolescent years. What would the you of today, the Noah of today, tell that 15, 16-year-old?
I would say run to church, man. Nowadays, I'm helping people that, don't go to church, don't serve Christ and all that. But there's a difference with dwelling with people and doing what they do and and doing Christ's work to help those people. But when I went to this church, which is Sinai Pentecostal Incorporated, I want to, my pastor is Nestor Angulo, Maritza Angulo.
Definitely.
When I started going there, I remember when I started going there, the first thing the pastor said was like, just come in, listen to the word. Mm-hmm. And, I never felt any rejection, any like nobody looking at me sideways. Mm-hmm. They were happy I was showing up. Yeah. So I was like, wow, this is awesome.
I just want to definitely congratulate you on everything, on the success you're having.
Thank
you. So the organization is
Good Deeds in the Rock.
In the Rock. How did you come up with the name?
So it started with the fact that it was being done in Rochester. The Rochester's nickname is The Rock, but it's about the Rock in Christ. Mm-hmm. So Good Deeds in Christ is basically what is the name of it. Feeding and clothing people throughout Rochester.
If somebody that's listening wants to drop off the items, where could they go? Is there a particular location?
Yeah, they can actually take it to 1067 Hudson Avenue, which is my mother's grocery store. Mm-hmm. She is taking donations there.
And you guys have a GoFundMe page, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Good Deeds in the Rock is the name of the GoFundMe. If you want to find me on Facebook, which is where most of the social media showing all this happening is being shown. You could find me in my name, Noe Gonzalez, or you can. So, like we were saying, I'm a finalist in the Rock Awards.
Yeah, definitely. And February 18th is a live show for the Rock Awards.
Yes.
Now, where can they find tickets if somebody wanted to go watch?
Basically, my page, or you could go to the Rock Awards page itself.
And that's rockawards.com, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So, Jafet Images, if anybody's looking.
Jafet Image, that's the name you want to vote in.
That's the name you want to look for.
Yeah.
So definitely social media. Follow our brother Noe. I want to thank you so much for this time, this opportunity
thank you for
of being here. Ladies and gentlemen, this podcast and this episode is neither affiliated nor brought to you by Rock Awards. However, if you want to be able to see Noe Gonzalez and many of the other talented people that have been nominated for categories such as music, art, food, fashion, and business, the Rock Awards show is scheduled for February 18th at the Hochstein Performance Hall here in Rochester, New York. For more information on that, you can go to rockawards.com. Also, check out Noe Gonzalez on Facebook and Instagram. There you'll be able to find information on Jafet Images and Good Deeds in the Rock. In fact, what I'm going to do is that on our website, tqpministries.jimdo.com, you'll be able to find links to Good Deeds in the Rock and their GoFundMe page, and also Noe Gonzalez and the many other things that he is involved in. So head over to tqpministries.jimdo.com to be able to follow those links. I want to thank you for listening today, and I hope that you have subscribed to our podcast. If you haven't, you can definitely go to iTunes and there subscribe to our program. Also, remember to rate and review. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your support. Remember, the greatest profit we could ever make is the impact we have.
Mighty King, give him all the glory. Mighty King, yes he is.